Liv's getting possibly a new boyfriend. How is Major going to react to that?
She's what? What was the question? How is Major going to react to that? Well, I mean, I think it's safe to assume he's not going to be overly thrilled about that, you know. He's handled it so remarkably well, like, because I would constantly just ask myself, like, if this was me, and I had been with the girl of my dreams for 8 years, and on a dime, she broke up with me, like, how well would I be able to, like, you know, behave and hold up? And there's no way I could do it nearly as well as Major. So, it's funny, my answer is I imagine that he would be about as understanding as you could expect, but there's also that part of me that goes, or maybe this is the point where he snaps, and he's like, you know what, I've been wonderful up until, and this is just, so no, and that's when he, you know, like, you know, kicks the cat and, you know, slams the car door. I'm kidding, no one's kicking a cat, you guys.
But is he going to challenge him to a duel? I mean, Bradley James comes from Merlin, they could have, you know, a nice little duel there.
That is true, and I did once play a cowboy, so it'd be like a cowboy versus a knight, which could make for some pretty cool action sequences. But as for any upcoming, you know, duels, I think it would only be a duel of the kind of the emotional variety, a much more emo duel.
Yeah, but it's a gamer episode coming up. You could challenge him to a game off.
I would kill him. Hands down, I would win that one. It wouldn't be a duel.
How are they going to integrate Major more into the storyline? It seems like he's just the roommate now for Robbie.
Does it, or does it seem like Robbie's just the roommate for Major?
Fair.
Well, like I said, I think once the audience meets Major in his work environment, and he sees sort of this kind of this mysterious trend that gets happening with these kids just missing, or going missing, and people not looking into it, you know, he very much embarks on his own adventure. So he no longer needs to have a reason to talk to Liv or to talk to Robbie. Like, he gets to have his own independent story that, you know, so which is great, because then they can go off and do their own thing, and it doesn't need to happen at the house for Major to be present at it. You know what I mean? And it freed the writers up for us to, like, get a chance to play with Major and see more of who he is and his character.
Is he kind of taking these, like, wayward zombies under wing? Well, it seems like there's some, like, zombies that are out there that kind of need some help, and there's nobody looking out for their interests, and he seems like the sort of guy that would want to, like, help people out that way.
When you say zombies, do you mean teenagers?
Well, teenagers sometimes act like zombies, but maybe.
Okay, very loose use of the word zombie, but I'll roll with it. Yeah, I think there are a lot of sort of lost wayward teens that he's helping out. But as far as zombies, I think you know, he does not believe they exist. I think he has a very much a sort of a belief of them as any of us would, which is like, no, they're great in movies, but they don't exactly exist. You know. Well, one of the things that I enjoyed was how dark the writers would want it to make it. You know, at Comic-Con, Rob pitched me at the San Diego Comic-Con. Rob pitched me what his idea was for the finale and Major's story, and that was it. I was done. I was like, oh yeah, 100%. I'm into that, because, you know, at a certain, like, perfection is boring. Someone who's just nice and happy all the time is boring. Like, that's what I asked Rob very early on. What's his secret? Like, or what's going to be his conflict? You know, and so he gets thrown into this sort of adventure that gets really dark, and it's great because, you know, he's a very stand-up, you know, like a stand-up gentleman. He's a guy of great character and integrity, and he has strong convictions and morals. But the thing is, what's great is, like, when those get challenged or pushed, or he's, you know, something's happening that he doesn't believe in, the strength of those morals and convictions can be just as strong coming back the other way. So in other words, like, you make someone mad who's, like, you know, he's capable of darkness as well. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, capable of great positivity, but he's also not afraid, of challenging people or putting himself in risky spots to figure out what is going on. I guess the importance of finding out what's right and what's just is greater than any fear that he might have of what could happen. Because to me, I think one of the things that is so brilliant about the book and the show, and I'm so glad that they used it, is that sarcastic narrative that flows throughout. That voiceover is great. Because so often we're watching her experience these situations that we can't relate to in any way, shape, or form. But the way she describes how annoyed she is by it, or like how uncomfortable, like that you can relate to, and that you can get. So suddenly, like, it becomes a little bit more accessible for us. So while it is something that we'll never ever like be able to firsthand understand, we're sort of allowed to experience it from a closer distance. You know what I mean? And I like it because it's also funny. It's funny as hell. Like sometimes hearing what she's saying. She's dealing with terrible things, and she's just tosses out some dry quip. And you're like, that's great. It's also because I've never seen it before. It's new.
I've seen intersection of Blaine and major storylines at some point.
I might.
Are they going to be like animosity sort of situation, or will they kind of be, friendly?
I mean, what would you rather see, a bromance or sort of a rivalry?
I kind of enjoy both.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It could go either way. And the good news is we've shot it both ways, so we'll have to see what the editors ended up using.
Did you and David Anders maybe plot some of that out? Hey, we got to write some of this in.
We maybe did. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun. I mean, the whole cast got along. So it was actually a treat shooting with everybody. So like Ravi moving in with me, I think part of it was bred of the producers seeing that Raul and I had become good friends. Same thing with the gaming and all that stuff. So it's a lot of the real life bled over into the show. It's funny you say that because he doesn't. At least we've never seen a moment where he does, and I sort of, what she went through was so horrible and traumatic that I think certain things were he let slide. Like maybe she never left the house for 3 months. How she got. I also think when you're in love with someone, they can sometimes be like they become your blind spot. Like because you love them so much that things like a casual observer might notice immediately, you don't because you're so close to it, And that was the way I was able to make sense of it in my head, because I thought the same thing. I was like, really? With the white skin and the hair, like you wouldn't immediately be like, come on, But I think that's how it makes sense to me, at least.
That's good to hear.
Oof. Okay, so I'm always a sucker for Call of Duty if I can play co-op with a buddy. Diablo 3, when they just re-released that, I played that all the way through, loved it. I picked up Dying Light because, oddly enough, that's the game, if you watch closely in the trailer, or excuse me, in the pilot, that's the game that I'm pretending to play with the Cupid nerdy girl, as she was labeled. So I own that. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Evolve. I've just started to play, and then Raul picked up Bloodborne the other day, and I loved it. I've been so busy. I have not been keeping up with my gaming or my reading, so I'm slacking.